Okay, we are live from Garmin Round Denmark Race. I'm in Aarhus, and as you maybe can see on the screen to my right side, the leading boats are approaching Lillebælt in a great hurry. Let's just have a little closer look at those boats. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna take myself out, and I'm gonna zoom in, because there's something interesting here that I want to share with you. Maybe we should just update this, because I think they have moved a little bit forward since then. Here we go. Some of you might know Lillebælt. It is a place where often a strong current runs, and sometimes the wind stops blowing here. Let's see, in the front we have the Xp44 Xbox doing 7.6. Second, we have another Xp44 Xar with a Swedish skipper Rikard Roth. He's doing 7.5. And thirdly, we have a double-handed boat, Jetstream, with the Garmin Roth, and they are doing 7.8. Well, now the interesting thing, apart from who will be first back in Aarhus, is concerning the single-handed sailor, Rikard. Because I'm gonna get myself back in this picture here. Because the single-handed sailors, they are sailing under some different rules than the double-handed and the fully crewed. We could just see if I can. Let's have a look at Rikard's boat. This is Rikard at the start here in Aarhus, just so you can see what kind of boat it is. And I'm gonna run it a few times. We only have 10 seconds, unfortunately, so you're gonna see the same clip a few times. Anyways, basically for safety matters, because Denmark is a very congested place to sail with lots of traffic, and everybody who has tried single-handed sailing, especially on what do you say, true ocean sailing, you don't meet very many boats along your way. But when you sail in Denmark and you're around Skagen, when you go to Øresund, up Storebælt or Lillebælt, nearly wherever you sail, you meet a lot of traffic from commercial traffic. And that's why we introduced this rule, the 44-8 rule. Basically, this rule says that you can sail non-stop for 36 hours. And then you need to take a break. You need to have your boat moored completely still in a harbor within these 36 hours. And then you have to rest for 8 hours. That is the basic rule. Then we have made some exceptions to not to be too rigid. We have made a buffer zone of 60 minutes that can be spent one time, where you let's say you are approaching a harbor and the wind drops, and you have done the right calculation, but it just slipped away. Then we have 60 minutes as a buffer zone that you can use one time. I'm just gonna get rid of this one, and maybe I'm gonna put this one up instead. Yeah. What is that's the purpose of that rule. Also, the same goes for the rest time. You can also make a mistake calculating 1 hour wrong if you are tired, or maybe you can do it of tactical reasons. So you can rest for more than you can rest for 7 hours. You cannot rest for less than 7 hours. But if you rest less than 8 but more than 7, then you will get a penalty at the next stop. And the same goes for if you use the buffer in the other end, you will have a time penalty of 2 hours. But what is in play now for Rikard is that he is actually quite close to be able to make the third exception come into play. And the third exception is indicated by this circle, which is a 15 nautical miles line outside of Aarhus. And within this line, just get myself back, if you enter this line before 36 plus 1 hour, then the 44.8 rule does not apply anymore. That means that at the moment, I think I just calculated it, he needs to be doing an average around 7.7 knots to be able to get into this line before 11 p.m. tonight, before 33, 1 hour to midnight tonight. And if he does that, he can continue towards Aarhus. If he fails to do this, he will need to take a break, because if he just sails on, let's say he spends 37 hours and 5 minutes and he doesn't stop, then he will be disqualified. If he, within the 37 hours, if let's say he can see, well, I didn't make it, but I'm going to harbor here in Hov, or in wherever there is a harbor, or where he can drop the anchor, then he has to take the penalty of 2 hours for the breach on the rule, because the rule says you have to spend another 2 hours before you go into at the next stop. I'm just going to bring this one up. Maybe you can see that too. And then finally, I'm just going to see if you're reading with me here. Yes, you are. This is the race instructions for the single-handers. It's all stated here in the rules for Garmin Round Denmark Race. Let's go down to here. It's all explained, but it is a bit tricky. And we also had an email from Rikard before they went out from Helsingør. The 7 hours and he must, the next stop he must do will be of 10 hours. So that means a penalty. Normally it's 8 hours. And finally, if the boat does not fulfill the requirements of this rule, meaning that if he doesn't comply with being inside these rules, he will get another 2 hours on top of the 2 hours in the time box. So I'm just gonna get myself back on the screen. So the tricky thing is, will he try to reach this line, or will he pull the plug before? It's a race against the time, or against the clock, you can say. And for me, it's I think he will let Lillebælt decide what to do, because at the moment, you can see, I'm just gonna pull it back, they're doing nearly around 7 knots. They're very close to this average speed needed to get there in time. I'm just gonna share this screen with you. Hang on one sec here. Yeah, as you can see, Xar, Rikard Roth, and they're here. They're actually doing 8.5 now, which is well above the required average. Let's see a bit further forward. Okay, maybe the wind drops here. Maybe the current is stronger where Xbox is, because they're doing 7.1. I think at least he needs to keep an average of 7.6 the last time I made a calculation from the distance. I'm gonna make a new calculation when he gets to the bridges in Lillebælt. Oh no, I think I actually wait till he gets out, because that will be more then there will be more clear wind. and then we have a much clearer prediction of whether he will try to go for the 50 nautical miles line, or if he will play it safe and not risk the penalties, and if he'll play it safe and just take his 8 hours well outside the line. That could be anywhere, but it needs to be before 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, depending on what his plan is. All right, that's it for now. It was a little trying to explain these rules for the single-handed sailors, but they are all invented to make it safe, and at the same time they are also invented because we had the first year. I'm just gonna magnify myself just a tiny bit. The first year when we did the Garmin Round Denmark Race, we had one of the single-handers, Kim Basland, in his Olsen 37, I think he sailed at that time. He didn't manage to get to the finishing line. He was laying out here on the bay, 500 meters from the finishing line, but the rule, the 50 nautical miles rule, didn't apply at that time. So he had to drop the anchor, waited out 8 hours here before he could pull up the anchor, sail the last 500 meters to the line, and then come into the harbor. His wife wasn't too happy about us keeping well strict on the rules, but rules are rules. We have to comply. And yeah, it was a bit sad also because after he dropped the anchor, Kim Basland, then the wind picked up right away, and if it had just picked up 5 minutes before, then he had made it to the harbor in due time. Anyways, that was a little war story from back in the day. Now let's follow Rikard. I will give you an update when they are out of Lillebælt, and to see what's happening. It's going to be exciting. Stay tuned, and maybe also check in on Garmin Round Denmark Race.com to see where we will try to post something in writing on this single-handed story with Rikard and his XP44. Okay, stay tuned. Bye for now.